Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. Hope you're having a good morning. We're going through the Gospel of Mark, and the best place to find spiritual formation is in the Bible, especially in the Gospels. And we look today at some things that would help us with our spiritual formation. We're going to study the story today about the feeding of the 5,000. This is in Mark chapter 6, verse 30. The apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to him all they had done and taught. Then, because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." Wherever Jesus is at, people are just coming. They are so busy that they can't even stop to eat. One of the things that you see about Jesus is that at some of the busiest times, he takes a break. He'll usually go to someplace else that's more isolated. He'll go someplace else where they can restore. I think that's one of the things that sometimes we don't, in our society, which is rush, 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 we don't do. We don't take time to take a break, to restore, to renew, to have our souls restore. I like the psalmist when he said, "He restoreth my soul." Now, sometimes we need our souls restored. We don't need to be in such a hurry and such a rush. However, they got in a boat and went by themselves to a solitary place, but the people recognized them. And so they came out in droves. They came out from the towns, came out from the place. The Gospel of John also mentions that it's Passover time, so there would have been extra pilgrims around. So there were thousands. We know that there were 5,000 men. We don't have any women and children, so who knows? 8 to 12,000, 15,000. I don't know how many there were, but there was a lot of folks that came to hear Jesus, and Jesus had compassion on them. He didn't send them away, and they were ministering to them, teaching them, and it became late, and the disciples became concerned, and they went to Jesus and said, these folks are going to need to get something to eat. They haven't eaten all day. You need to send them away so they can go into the towns and get some food. What's interesting is those little towns, there wouldn't have been enough bread and stuff around for thousands of people. But Jesus looked at his disciples, said, "You give them something to eat." And they said, "Oh, Lord, that would take about a half a year's wages. Well, we don't have that kind of money." And then he asked for some food, and we know there was a little boy there from one of the other Gospels. We had 5 barley loaves and 2 little fish. And Jesus took that, and he directed the people to set in groups of 50s. And then he gathered his disciples around, and they had 12 baskets. There's some discussion about what that might have been. Could have been baskets, or could have been just maybe a kind of what we think of a fanny pack type thing that a lot of people would have worn around their waist in that time. And that might have been what it was. I don't know. But Jesus blessed those loaves and those fish, and he started breaking them apart. And he filled up one basket for one disciple. He filled up another basket for another disciple. And he filled up another basket for another disciple. And so they went, and with their baskets they started, and they didn't run out until they fed all the crowd. And there were 12 basketfuls left over. The Bible even teaches that the people ate till they were satisfied. I had a friend of mine point out one time, he said, in that part of the world, in that time, that might have been the first time that somebody ever ate till they were full. I've been in parts of the world today where people can't eat till they're full. They just eat what they can. In Africa one time, I was in a place where we had a half a banana and a little piece of bread. And that was their meal, not just for one meal, it was their meal for the day. And that might have been some of these folks. They might have had all they wanted for the first time. But there's 2 or 3 things that I think that we need to get from this passage. One is there are times that we need to slow down. There are times we need to walk away from our busyness and take a break. Jesus taught that. As I've quoted on here before, quoted Dallas Willard, where he says that we need to ruthlessly eliminate hurry from our lives. The other thing is that they didn't have much. They had just a little, one little boy's lunch. 5 out of those, 2 fish, and yet it fed all those folks. There's something called the multiplication principle in the Bible. That when you give what you have to God, and He blesses it, it becomes so much greater than what it would have been if you held on to it. What if that little boy would have said, no, my mom packed this lunch for me, and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to eat it. No, he gave it to the Master. He gave it to Jesus. And Jesus blessed it, and look what happened. And that's what we need to do with our gifts and talents and finances. We need to give them to the Master and let Him bless it. So today, as we leave, I hope that you'll take what you have and give it to the Lord and let Him bless it and multiply it. Well, I hope you have a really good weekend. And if you're local here, I hope you'll consider coming to church. More people coming back every week. And I had people raise their hands a couple of weeks ago. It seems like over 90% of our folks have either been vaccinated or have had COVID. So it seems to me like at our church anyway, during worship, we're pretty much at herd immunity. And so I think you can come rest and assured that you probably won't get it. And still wear your mask if you like or not like, but we still have room to social distance. And so I hope you will come back. We miss you, and we'd love to have you back. You have a great day. Bye now.